Good morning and welcome to the Onsen Budgie Smugglers with Yoshi and Crash, coming to you live simultaneously from Kyoto in Japan and Northcote in Victoria, Australia. Welcome, Yosh. How are you, mate?
Good morning, Troy. Good morning, everyone. I'm good, thanks. How about you, Troy?
Yeah, going well. Moving out of summer and into winter here and enjoying Melbourne.
All right. How's the weather today?
It's a little bit cool, but probably low 20s, I'd say. Maybe 18, 19, 20, something like that.
All right, not bad. Is it cold in the morning?
Yeah, it's starting to chill off, that's for sure.
All right. It's quite chilly in the morning, like 12 degrees, 13 degrees, something like that. And maximum temperature is expected around 17, 18 today. And we have a free training in the afternoon. It was raining in the morning, so should be, hopefully it's dry by free training starts.
Yeah, don't want slippery footy.
No.
So, mate, let's jump into our highs and lows from the previous week or previous couple of weeks since we spoke last.
Yeah.
You can kick it off.
Right. Highs. Of course, the St. Kilda winning over 3 on Sunday. And I never expected to win because of the number of injuries, like 14, and 8 of them were main players. So, it's hard to believe St. Kilda would win, but job's done. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, no, they look good. And obviously Ross coming back to St. Kilda and up against his old team in Fremantle. It was a bit of a grudge match and was pretty close. I saw quite a bit of the last quarter. And Fremantle certainly were a chance there in the last quarter, but the Saints got the job done, as you said.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is right? You right?
Yep.
Oh. That's good. Bro, I'm still dealing with my ongoing mental health problem, and I'm worried about the future.
Yeah, I guess that's not unusual, but we all have worries about the future. But hopefully that's something you can work through, and I think you're doing that at the moment. And hopefully there's better times ahead, mate.
That's my. It's really, really hard to deal with, like, the something unclear, like, if the things are not going well, then I start worrying. Is that unusual or is that usual?
Yeah, very much. All I can say, mate, is hopefully the future one day is you and me sitting at the MCG or at Docklands watching the footy together.
Oh, that's a good stuff. Yeah.
Well, I guess my highlight for the last week was a footy one, and that's getting out for a bit of kick to kick in the park with my mate Ben. Nice morning last Sunday morning, just out there and drilling some drop punts and throwing in a few torpedoes and drop kicks for old time's sake. But running around and getting the heart going, and that certainly made me feel good.
That's good.
So, sorry,
is there
mate.
like a nice park?
Yeah. Down
Nice.
by the Yarra River.
Nice. So you didn't, drop the ball into the river.
No, I can't kick it that far. But at the moment, the goalposts are still not in some of the local grounds. So unfortunately, we couldn't have shots at goal.
Oh, that's a shame. There should be, parks, with the goals, in Melbourne. I've seen many parks having a free post,
Yeah, well, lots of them do, but they actually take them out over the summer for when the cricket is on. They take the posts out and then put them back in at the start of the footy season.
Oh, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Understand.
And my low for the week, look, it's in the scheme of things, it's not really that bad, but Punt Road traffic. It's a famous bottleneck road in Melbourne that runs alongside the MCG. But gee,
Yeah.
the traffic there in the peak hours can be really hard to negotiate. And with my new job, I've got to be driving down that road every day. So it's a little bit frustrating, but I can always sit back and listen to a podcast or a bit of footy talk or something like that to get me up and going again.
That's good. How long does it take from your home to your new work?
It was about 40 minutes on the way there and about 55 minutes on the way home.
Quite long, right? How many
Yeah.
Ks?
It's about 20, 22 Ks, I think, something like that.
All right.
It's
It's
quite
quite
slow.
far away.
And half of that time is only like a few kilometers that go past down Punt Road. So it takes nearly half the time.
All right.
Anyway,
Traffic must be heavy. I can assume, I can guess.
yeah. So topics of discussion for the show this week. You want to give me yours, Josh?
Yes. Osaka station's facial recognition gate was first adaptive platform was unveiled.
Right. So,
my pronunciation was not bad.
I mean, facial recognition is an amazing piece of technology, I guess, and used for all sorts of things that may be good or bad for us in the future, no doubt. I'm guessing that these platform gates are train platforms, and the facial recognition is basically it's going to recognize you when you come up to the gate, and then automatically bill your train ticket to you, and then open and let you through. Is that sort of how it's going to work?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like the system is still on the trial. Like they're still doing an experiment.
Yeah.
Then, as you say, like the gate, recognize your face, like then your transport card, like a marquee in Melbourne, will be deducted, automatically from your ticket by going through the gate.
So that'll speed everything up, right?
So yeah, and JR West, trying to start using this gate by 2025 when the expo is held in Osaka.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good thing?
I hope so, yeah. Of course, like they are not using to trap down people's face, like trying to trap down, the some sort of as a crime or forever, like the not using like for the misusing for the getting unnecessary personal information or to like promote anything from your face. Like I didn't want to see that. Only use for the charging the train fee on your card.
Yeah, I'd be a bit worried that famous people like you, Yoshi, people will wear a mask that looks like you, and then you'll get the bill.
Hopefully, I want to be charged with other people's face at all.
Fair enough. Mine from this week, Fortescue, which is a mining company in Australia. Fortescue hails green iron breakthrough as own coal-free tech moves to pilot phase.
Looks like someone changes his or her job from coal industry to airline. Like he or she used to dig coals in a mining industry, but then changed to be a pilot. I
That's,
guess.
yeah, no, you've read that very literally. So I'll now go ahead and explain what it is. So
Speak.
when they make steel for construction, which Australia digs out a lot of iron ore out of the ground, which then gets
Mhm.
turned into steel. Either we make it locally or we ship the iron, for example, to China or Japan
Mhm.
or India, and they'll then turn that into steel. And in
Mhm.
that process, they have to use a lot of coal.
Yeah.
And then this process that they're talking about now is being able to make steel without using coal. So
Yeah.
So it would make a huge difference on the amount of coal that is burnt throughout the world because there's lots of areas, particularly in power generation, where that's being stopped in Australia and other countries around the world due to the due to the carbon
Yeah.
usage. And this is a potential move that could reduce that in another major usage area. So would hopefully help the climate and yeah, reduce the effects of climate change going forward.
Yeah, sure. That's a good, movement to the future, environment friendly, stuff happening.
Yeah, so
Like,
pretty
good.
positive. It's only in trial stage, a bit like a bit like
Yeah,
the facial recognition. It's in trial stage, but hopefully that can get up and work because it'll be really good.
yeah. Like a good technology for both countries as well, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, like I understand that you are selling like the some sort of environment, equipment. Is that am I
Yes.
correct?
No, very
Then
much.
right, then you must be interested in such kind of technologies,
Very much so. Yes. No, goes to the heart of what I do. That's for sure.
That's good.
All right. That's enough serious talk about the environment.
Yeah,
Let's get on to the serious talk of footy. So, have
yeah,
a little bit of a review. I guess you did give us a little bit of a review of the St Kilda game in round one, but how did you see
yeah.
this? How did you see the Saints game overall?
All right. You know, defense, worked very well to stop not five, also as a like a Taberner or something who, key Fremantle key forwards from scoring. Also, St. Kilda used a good cordia to score score goals. Jack Sinclair was good, like he was chasing the ball and stop key forward players, midfield. Anyway, I'm pretty happy about winning the game.
Yeah, and in the top eight, Josh. So looking good.
Yes, that's my, but it's only round one.
So on the flip side, earlier in the afternoon, I went and watched the Hawks at the MCG, where they
Yeah,
played the Bombers, and they started off pretty well. I think they were up by about 15 points at quarter time. But from then on, Essendon really dominated the game, and I guess some of our inexperience started to show, particularly up forward, but around the ball as well. And Essendon were able to take advantage of that and beat us by, I think it was 59 points or something like that. So big win for the Bombers. There'll be a lot of very happy Bombers fans because there's a fierce rivalry between Hawthorn and Essendon going back
yeah.
to the 80s. Yeah. So yeah, well done to the Bombers, and my boys got to get and regroup, and a couple of injuries out of that. I think Chad Wingard and Jarman Impey both injured out of last week.
That's a shame.
So in the other games, we saw the draw on Thursday night, which was Richmond and
Yeah,
Carlton. That was pretty exciting.
yeah.
the Cats and the Magpies had a great game on Friday night, and the Magpies got up over the reigning premiers, so that was pretty good too.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I agree.
North Melbourne, looking to get up off the bottom of the ladder this year, had a good start with a 5-point win over the Eagles.
Yeah,
Port Adelaide, I guess to some were surprise winners over the Lions. They won pretty solidly, and Ken Hinkley's doing a good job there at Port again.
yeah,
Saturday night, I did get to see the MCG to see Melbourne and the Bulldogs, and that was a pretty
yeah,
good game. Melbourne won pretty easily in the end, but it was good to see both those teams sort of under lights with Melbourne's new setup with Gawn and Grundy and Ben Brown, all those big guys up forward. That worked pretty well
yeah,
for them.
yeah, I'm sure.
The Swans had a very solid win over the Suns, who didn't put up much of a fight on
Mm,
Sunday. And GWS got over the Crows. So, in a very
yeah,
hot game, apparently, up there in Sydney, it was a very hot day. And the Crows got off to a great start and looked like they were going to upset, but GWS just worked their way back into that game and got the win.
no,
So looking across the teams, any footy you saw, Josh, you got any sort of favourite players that you might have seen from any of the other clubs other than St Kilda?
oh, I only watched the game. I have only watched the game like in few games.
Yeah,
Then for a new player, on Thursday I watched Carlton versus Geelong
yeah,
and Oliver Holland. He did a good job like in the forward line. Then he's my favorite new player, other than St. Kilda Football Club. Also established players like the other small forward in Matthew always from Carlton. He chasing the ball very well. Then he's got it into the right place and he's kicked some goals. Then he's my favorite established player.
yeah, and I think both good choices and pretty exciting for Carlton supporters to have a couple of guys like that, sort of
Yeah,
alongside the bigger names of Cripps and Harry Mackay and Ed Curnow, to have these other players that are coming along for them, and that's why they are going so well and looking pretty exciting. They did play Thursday night against Geelong and knocked them off again.
yeah,
8-point win to the Blues and 0-2 for Geelong. So not a great
yeah,
start for reigning premiers.
no good.
Of the games I watched, I like the look of Harry Sheasel, who is obviously a very high draft pick. He went to North Melbourne
Mm,
last year, but started off just like a house on fire. He just was all over the place, getting touches everywhere and doing really good team things too. So I think they've got a gun that they've picked up there. I probably have my established players, Nat Fyfe from Freo, obviously Brownlow medalist, but just when he's out there, gives his all every week, and is someone that really can sort of turn a game and win it, almost by his own will at times. So he's probably my favourite established player in the AFL.
that's good. Yeah, he's good. Uh, he's suffering injuries, many times.
Yeah, particularly
Hopefully he's,
shoulders. Yeah.
hopefully he's playing well. After round two, we
Yeah,
could
that's
see
right. I mean,
what's happening
it's a
this
hard
year.
game when you're playing on ball, right? And he's copping contact continually through the game, and that will break you down eventually, particularly if you're someone who gets the ball a lot like he does.
Yeah.
So
No,
last night, Yosh, pretty interesting game. Brisbane and Melbourne at the Gabba.
yeah.
was billed as being a blockbuster game, and it certainly played out that way in the end. What did you
Yeah.
think?
It was very unusual for me. Like it's the first time for me to see a blackout at free game. It's kind of hard to believe in the modern days as well. Oh my goodness! Like suddenly it's gone.
Yeah, so
Then
with 12 minutes to go in the last quarter, the lights
yeah,
went out. Yeah.
yeah,
And I can't remember how far ahead they were at that stage, Brisbane, but it was something like about 35 points or something like that with 12 minutes to go.
yeah. Actually, 40 points. Brisbane are 40 points up. When the blackout happened, then they were only by 12 points. This fought back very well.
Yeah, they really did. And within, I think with, a minute and 45 to go, they were only 2 goals down. So, and certainly had chances there in those last 2 minutes to maybe level that up, but didn't happen. Brisbane looked very good and got the win. So
Yeah,
Melbourne, were looking like maybe they'll be the strongest team this year. They've had a loss. Brisbane were looking like they'll be one of the strongest teams. They've had a loss. Geelong have had 2 losses.
mm,
So at this stage, Carlton's 2 win, win and a draw look pretty good.
yeah,
And it'll be interesting to see how Collingwood go against Port Adelaide today, I think.
that's right. You make a good point.
So you want to give us the tips for the rest of the games this round, Josh?
You're right. Today's Collingwood versus Port. I think Collingwood are doing well like against Geelong, and I give Collingwood by 15 points.
Yeah, I'll go with Collingwood as well.
Right. Adelaide versus Richmond. Uh, Richmond are playing quite well in Adelaide, and the Crows are not doing well, so I give Richmond by 9 points.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a close one too. Going to go with the Tigers, but wouldn't be surprised if Adelaide are able to pull something out here. The only concern I have for them really is playing in those hot conditions last week at GWS, that they might not come up so well today.
All right. Then Bulldogs versus St. Kilda. St. Kilda still, facing injuries, but St. Kilda did well last week. So in my heart and my belief, I chip St. Kilda by 4 points.
Look, I was impressed with St Kilda's performance last week. I still think the Bulldogs are probably a step above them at this stage, so I'll go with the Bulldogs.
And how many points?
15.
Oh, never mind. Everyone chipped the Bulldogs, I think. I listened to Philology podcast the other day, and Rowan Coney and Rodney both chipped the Bulldogs, so I don't complain.
Fair enough.
I'm a dream. I'm believing the dream, I think. And I have a big heart for St. Kilda Football Club as well.
Of course, mate, but you've got to back your club in, and they're every chance to win.
Then Fremantle versus North Melbourne tonight. Fremantle was stopped by St. Kilda last week, but they got a home advantage, so I pick Fremantle by 20 points.
Yeah, Fremantle in Perth, I think, win that one.
Yeah. Then who's the next? Sydney versus
The
I
Hawks.
can't remember. Sydney versus who?
The Hawks.
Hawks, right? Right. it's tough to say for you. But at this season, she knew win by 36 points. Sorry, Mike.
I don't need to apologise, mate. I think Sydney will probably win that game as well. Up there, Hawthorn haven't had a good record up there the last couple of years. I think Papley fixed us up there last time and probably will do so again. So, yeah, I reckon you're about on the money there.
I'm not chasing the money, Mike. No, no chipping with money.
Fair enough.
Just the talk. And Essendon versus, oh shit, I can't remember who
Gold Coast.
opponent. Huh? Sorry?
Gold Coast Suns.
All right, sounds right. All right, Essendon doing well against your team last week, so I'll give Essendon by 18 points.
Yeah, I think so. They'll be very happy if they can get the 2-0 start to the season. I think they'll probably beat the Gold Coast tomorrow.
Then West Coast versus GWS. So West Coast has a home advantage, but I think GWS beat them by 5 points.
Yeah, I think it'll be close. Again, maybe GWS are affected by that hot conditions last week, but I think they can get the job done over West Coast.
Right.
All right, we won't be back next week, so let's have a look at the games next week and do some quick tips on those as well.
Yeah.
So Bulldogs Brisbane Thursday night. I think that I think Brisbane might actually win that on the road.
Right. By watching the last night's game, Brisbane are like slowing down at the last quarter. Then I think hot dogs snarl by the ball by against Lions by 2 points. Achieve the Bulldogs.
Yeah, good.
Actually, could be silly, but it's my feeling.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Collingwood take on Richmond on Friday night and what will be a blockbuster at the MCG. Punt Road will knock a block again, so that's no good for me. But I think Collingwood might have better form than Richmond. I think we might see some more about that today, but I'll pick Collingwood there.
Yeah, me too. Like Collingwood is so strong this week. Then it would be a close game, and I chip Collingwood by 2 points.
On April Fool's Day, Saturday, the 1st of April next week, Hawthorn versus North Melbourne. I'll have to go with the Hawks for that one and say this is one of our few chances to get a win this year.
Good point. Sorry, I chipped the North Melbourne by 5 points.
Fair enough.
It's a close game.
It'll probably be Harry Sheasel kicking the winning goal too. GWS Giants versus Carlton.
Yeah.
I think that Carlton will probably win that one. They're in good form.
Yeah, me too. Carlton are showing a good form, as you say, against Richmond. Unfortunately, it was a draw game. Then Carlton demonstrated good skills against Geelong. So I tipped Carlton by 18 points.
Saturday night, St Kilda versus Essendon. I assume that is going to be at Docklands, and I'll pick the Saints to beat the Bombers there.
Actually, it's a MCG game because club's 150 years, a historical game.
Good to see you're more informed than me, Yoshi.
Say it again?
Good to see you're more informed than me.
Yes, because it's a St. Kilda game. Anyway, St. Kilda will win to celebrate club's 150-year anniversary, and I picked St Kilda by 15 points.
Hopefully you're right, mate. And then over in Adelaide, it's the Derby, or the showdown in Adelaide? Port Adelaide versus Adelaide, and I'll go with Port Adelaide to win that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I picked Port by 10 points.
On Sunday, got Gold Coast versus Geelong, and I'll pick the Cats to win that one.
Yeah, Geelong will bounce back by 8 points.
Melbourne versus Sydney, which will be in Melbourne. So I'll pick the Demons to win that one and get their season back on track.
I go for Sydney Swans for this match by 4 points. Like Max Boone is gone. Then Melbourne did not well. Melbourne didn't play well last night against Brisbane. So I changed mine and I picked Sydney.
Okay, big call. And then the derby will be happening on Sunday over in Perth, Fremantle versus West Coast. I'll go with the Dockers there.
I'll go for the Dockers as well by 30 points.
Good call.
Just my.
So what's on for the weekend for you, Yosh?
Say it again?
What's on for the rest of the weekend for you?
I'm heading to I'm seeing a doctor afterwards and having a free training. Then I'm working tomorrow. What about yourself, Crash?
Yeah, look, I'll probably watch a bit of footy this afternoon. Maybe go and watch the Darren Falcons women play in the VFLW. And then I've got a going away celebration for some friends of mine. They're going back to the US next week. And we'll be watching the Hawks and the Swannies on the TV tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, it's good. Good weekend, I assume.
Absolutely. I think that's about all for us this week, Yosh.
Yeah, Crash?
So on behalf of myself and my good mate Yoshi, have a great weekend and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Cheers, guys. See you in 2 weeks.